when speaking of Jesus of the Bible compared to Jesus of Islam. The question is, did Jesus die and be resurrected? And why do Muslims believe that he was not? Well, in the Quran, chapter 4, verse 171, it says, God is speaking to the Jewish people here, and that has to be clarified. He's not speaking to the world, he's speaking to the Jews. He says that you killed nor crucified Jesus, son of Mary, for we made it appear to you as if he had. Now, what does that mean? Is God a liar? Did he lie to the world for 600 years before Muhammad came? And then all of a sudden Muhammad knows the truth, but those eyewitnesses to Jesus and the death and the resurrection and his life did not? I don't think so. Because if you are Sunni Muslim, as I once was, you have to then accept. You must go to the tafseers, the understandings from the hadith, the sunnah, in order for us to understand what this verse truly means. Now there's a story called, surrounding a historical event in Islam called the Battle of Badr. In the Battle of Badr, we know Muslims killed the enemies of Islam. They killed the enemies of Allah and Muhammad. But there is hadith that states clearly that Muhammad is having a revelations from God. He's saying that the Muslims did not kill the enemies of Allah and his messenger, but Allah willed for them to die. That doesn't mean in reality that the Muslims didn't kill the enemies of Islam. It just means that God was on their side, wills them to die, and as such has absolved them of their sin, which is murder. Okay, I've got nothing against that. Nothing at all. I'm accept that being authentic, true. And so do the scholars like Ibn Kathir, Ibn Masud. And I am using their tafseers, their understandings. So you take that to verse 1471. Now what does that verse state? With that understanding, Allah speaks to the Jews and he's saying to the Jews, you did not kill nor crucify Jesus, but I did it of my will. He dies, and of my will he is reborn, he is resurrected. And I am absolving you of any blame. Now, is there any other verses in the Quran that would confirm that this could be the true understanding? There is. In Quran chapters 19 verses 33, Jesus speaks in there and he says, blessed is it that I am born, must live, shall die, and be reborn. Now, if what I am saying is true about verse 4171, that Jesus did die, which was the classical understanding in Islam when they still use their ijtihad. Ijtihad is basically critical thinking. And they wasn't the Puritan, the Salafist literalists of today who follow the scholars over the religion. If what I'm saying is true, then I contend this. There should be nothing in the Quran that goes against those verses. And there isn't. Verse 147, chapter 4171, 1933, go together with the hadith and the tafsir, the understanding of the Battle of Badr. You put it together, it's one clean story. Now, I may not accept the story, but it's a clean story. It's something that people can say is logical, they can work with. But when you say in one moment, Jesus did not die on the cross, that Allah is a great liar, and to me he is, but to a Muslim he isn't, but you say Allah is a great liar, God is a great liar, then you have to ignore Quran 1933 and the tafsirs of the Battle of Badr. And if you do that, then you're not a Sunni Muslim. And if you do that, then you don't have an understanding of Islam. So according to Islam, Jesus was on that cross, he died on that cross, was reborn from that cross, and God absolved the Jewish people of their portion of the blame. That is what that verse is saying if you look at it in historical context. It just so happens that Muslims today do not do that. They do not study their work and their books. They study what scholars tell them, and they pray that the scholars are telling them the truth and the full truth. But they're not. All right, everybody. Have a good day in Jesus' name.